The planet Zerathia glimmered under two suns, its surface alive with colors that seemed to shift with every passing hour. Cities floated above the oceans, connected by bridges of light that pulsed softly with energy. The tallest of these cities held the royal palace, a towering structure of silver and crystal that reflected the brilliance of the twin suns. It was here that Queen Alara ruled, the most powerful being in the galaxy. Her name alone inspired awe, and her victories over countless enemies were whispered across planets. Alara was unlike any other ruler. Her mind was sharp as a diamond, her strategy flawless, and her presence commanding. She had defeated entire fleets without raising her weapon, simply by predicting every move of her opponents. No one doubted her strength or intelligence, and she had always married those who matched her power, or those who could offer her something valuable to the galaxy. Yet today, the council waited in silence. They had gathered in the palace hall, a room filled with crystalline walls that reflected the light in dazzling patterns. The councilors exchanged confused glances as the doors opened. Alara entered, her tall form moving with grace and certainty. Her presence alone was enough to silence any room. She wore a robe of deep violet, adorned with patterns that shimmered like starlight. "My council," she began, her voice calm yet powerful. "Today I announce my choice for a mate. His name is Rian, a human who has come to our planet. He will be my husband," a murmur ran through the council. Humans were known throughout the galaxy, but they were often underestimated. They lacked advanced technology, and their species was fragile compared to alien races. A human marrying the Queen of Zerathia seemed impossible, even absurd. "Your Majesty," one counselor finally spoke, his voice trembling, "you cannot truly mean to marry a human. We do not know his abilities. He appears ordinary." Alara's eyes narrowed slightly. "That is precisely why I choose him. I will learn his strengths myself. Perhaps you will learn as well." The doors opened again and Ryan stepped into the hall. He was simple in appearance, wearing modest clothing unlike the vibrant attire of the Zerathians. His brown hair fell slightly over his forehead and his green eyes looked calm but alert. He did not carry any visible weapon, and he walked with ease, neither nervous nor overconfident. The council studied him. He did not radiate power, nor did he display any extraordinary abilities. He simply looked human. Rian bowed respectfully. "I am honored by the Queen's trust. I will do my best to live up to her expectations," he said, his voice steady. There was no arrogance in his tone, no attempt to impress with words. Alara smiled faintly. "Observe him closely. Do not judge by appearances. Humans are often underestimated, and you may be surprised by what he can do." The counselors whispered among themselves, clearly skeptical. How could a human, someone seemingly so powerless, be worthy of marriage to the most powerful being in the galaxy? Many could not hide their doubt. After the ceremony was announced, Rian moved into the royal palace. At first his life there seemed ordinary. He walked through halls filled with shimmering light and advanced technology that responded to thought. Rooms adjusted to the occupant, displaying images, sounds, and even smells that reflected their memories and desires. Ryan observed quietly, never rushing, never complaining. Queen Alara watched him closely. She was curious, as she had never encountered a human who remained so calm in the presence of advanced technology. Most beings would have been overwhelmed or frightened, but Ryan adapted with patience and intelligence. He learned quickly how to navigate the palace, though he never sought to impress anyone. At mealtimes, Alara noticed something unusual. Ryan did not compete for attention. He spoke only when necessary, and when he did, his words were clear and thoughtful. He asked questions that revealed a deep understanding of the world around him, not just facts, but the reasoning behind them. One evening, the Queen decided to test him. She led him to a room filled with holographic projections of battles, each more complex than the last. "Ryan," she said, her voice firm but calm. "These simulations are meant to test your strategy. You have no weapons here, but you must defend the city from attacks. How will you act?" Ryan studied the projections carefully. "I would observe the patterns first," he said. "Notice where the attacks begin and how the attackers move. Then I would use the environment to slow them down. The city has defenses, but if I can redirect them strategically, I can protect the people without wasting energy." Alara raised an eyebrow. This was not the answer she expected. Most beings would have rushed into combat or relied solely on weapons. Ryan's approach was calm, thoughtful, and intelligent. Very well, she said. Show me how you would do it. Ryan's hands moved slowly, directing the holographic forces. He guided units to key points, created barriers in unexpected places, and anticipated enemy moves before they occurred. Within moments, the simulation concluded. Not only was the city protected, but the attack was neutralized efficiently with minimal risk to the inhabitants. Alera's eyes widened. She had expected a simple human, someone to observe and perhaps learn from, but Ryan had exceeded her expectations. She realized that power could take many forms. It was not only physical strength or advanced technology. It could also be intelligence, patience, and observation. The counselors, who had been observing silently, were also amazed. Whispers ran through the room. Perhaps the Queen's choice was not as strange as it first seemed. In the days that followed, Ryan continued to show his subtle talents. He could solve complex problems that even the most advanced computers struggled with. He could understand alien languages and customs with remarkable speed. Yet he never boasted, never demanded attention. His strength was quiet but undeniable. Despite the palace's grandeur and the constant attention, Ryan remained humble. He took time to learn about the citizens of Zarathia, listening to their concerns and offering thoughtful solutions. He treated everyone with respect, regardless of their rank or species. Even those who had doubted him began to notice that he possessed a rare quality and ability to unite people with simple words and wise decisions. Queen Alera found herself intrigued not only by his mind but also by his character. She had seen many beings with great power, but few with such patience, humility, and insight. She began to wonder if perhaps humans were not as powerless as the galaxy believed. One afternoon, as the sun set over Zarathia, casting golden light across the palace, Alera spoke to Ryan privately. "You continue to surprise me," she said. "I expected an ordinary human, but you are far from ordinary. Tell me, Ryan, why have you chosen to come here and marry me?" Ryan looked out at the horizon, his expression calm. "I did not come for power or status," he said. "I came because I believe that people, no matter their species, can work together to create something greater. You lead with strength and wisdom. I wish to learn from you, and perhaps I can offer something in return. I am not here to compete, only to help." Alera considered his words. They were simple yet meaningful. She had spent so long surrounded by beings who sought power and recognition that Ryan's humility and intelligence were refreshing. "Very well," she said finally. "We shall see how far this union takes us. Do not think, however, that I will not test you further. I will discover your limits, Ryan, and I will push you." Ryan nodded. "I welcome it, Your Majesty. I will do my best to rise to every challenge." As the days passed, the palace settled into a new rhythm. Ryan learned the ways of Zarathia, and Queen Alera observed him closely. Outside the palace, citizens whispered about the Queen's choice, some mocking it, others curious. How could a human so seemingly powerless be worthy of the most powerful queen in the galaxy? But little did they know, power was not always what it seemed. Ryan's calm presence, intelligence, and subtle strength were quietly changing the way people saw him. And Queen Alera, for the first time in her life, felt a mixture of curiosity and anticipation. She wondered what this human could truly do, and whether the galaxy was ready to witness his hidden talents. The story of a seemingly powerless human marrying the alien queen had begun. What the galaxy did not yet understand was that appearances could be deceiving. In the quiet corners of the palace, Ryan observed, learned, and prepared, while Alera's respect and intrigue grew. The stage was set for a journey that would test the limits of power, wisdom, and courage. And somewhere deep within, Ryan carried a secret, one that would change the fate of Zarathia and challenge the entire galaxy. For now, he remained patient, waiting for the moment when he could reveal the true depth of his strength. Until then, he would learn, adapt, and prove that even the most unassuming human could stand alongside the mightiest queen of all. The palace of Zarathia was a marvel of engineering and artistry. Its walls shimmered with living light, its floors shifted to fit each visitor, and its halls seemed to stretch endlessly in every direction. Ryan had now spent several weeks in the palace, and each day brought new experiences. Though he was human and seemingly powerless, he moved through the palace with quiet confidence. The citizens of Zarathia often whispered about him. Many still could not understand why the queen had chosen a human as her mate. Some thought it was a foolish decision, while others suspected there was more to Ryan than met the eye. He did not try to prove himself. He did not carry weapons or wear armor, yet he observed carefully, learning the ways of the palace, the customs of Zerathia, and the strengths and weaknesses of those around him. Queen Alara watched him closely. She had ruled for decades, faced countless enemies, and trusted few. She had never met a being so calm and intelligent in the face of constant scrutiny. Rian did not boast. He did not demand attention. He listened, he asked questions, and he offered suggestions that were often more insightful than those of the most experienced counselors. One morning, Alara brought Rian to the council chambers. The room was vast, with walls made of crystal that reflected the morning sun. Holographic displays floated in the air, showing maps, city structures, and energy readings from across Zerathia. "Rian," she said, her voice firm yet patient, "today, you will learn about the council's responsibilities. You will observe our meetings and offer your thoughts when appropriate. I want to see how well you understand strategy and governance." Rian nodded. "I will do my best, Your Majesty." The counselors glanced at him with skepticism. Many still doubted a human could contribute meaningfully to the leadership of Zerathia. Yet as the meeting began, Rian's calm attention quickly became apparent. He listened carefully to each speaker, noting details that others missed. When he spoke, his words were precise and thoughtful. "Perhaps," Rian said quietly, "if we adjust the energy distribution along these points, we can increase efficiency and reduce risk of overload. It may also allow the city defenses to respond faster in case of attack." The counselors were surprised. His suggestion was not only logical but practical. It had not occurred to any of the experienced Zerathians. Queen Alara's eyes narrowed slightly. She was impressed. Rian's mind worked differently from hers, and yet his reasoning was effective. After the meeting, Alara and Rian walked through the palace gardens. The gardens were unlike any on Earth. Plants glowed softly with their own light, and the air was filled with scents that shifted with the wind. Streams of crystal-clear water flowed gently over stones that hummed faintly with energy. "You continue to surprise me," Alara said. "Even in a room full of experts, you offer insights that no one else sees. Tell me, Rian, where does this ability come from?" Rian smiled faintly. "It comes from observation and patience. I watch, I think, and I consider many possibilities before acting. Strength is not always about force. Sometimes it is about understanding and timing." Alara nodded thoughtfully. She had always believed in power and strategy. But Rian's approach was different. It was not brute strength or advanced technology. It was something quieter, something humans possessed in abundance: insight. Days turned into weeks, and Rian's presence in the palace became more noticeable. He spent time with the citizens, learning their concerns and offering simple solutions. He helped a merchant organize trade routes more efficiently, suggested a redesign of the city's energy grid to prevent waste, and even taught young Zerathians to think creatively rather than follow instructions blindly. Despite his calm demeanor, Rian was not passive. He observed potential threats carefully, noting unusual activity and patterns in the city. He asked questions about security protocols, suggesting minor adjustments that strengthened defenses without drawing attention. The counselors began to notice that the human was quietly improving the city in ways that were subtle yet significant. One afternoon, as Rian explored the palace's training halls, he encountered a group of elite warriors practicing combat. Their movements were precise, their attacks powerful, and their energy radiated strength. He watched from a distance, analyzing their techniques. Though he did not join them, he made mental notes, considering how he might defend the palace if necessary. Queen Alara appeared beside him. "Do you not wish to train?" she asked. Rian shook his head. "I do not need to show my skill, Your Majesty. Observation and understanding are enough for now." Alara studied him carefully. "You are unlike any human I have ever known. Most would be intimidated by these warriors, yet you remain calm and focused. I do not yet know your full potential, Rian, and that both worries and excites me." As the week progressed, a minor crisis arose. A shipment of energy crystals intended for the city's power grid was delayed due to a technical error. The council debated how to handle it, some suggesting they wait for the next transport, others proposing risky measures to transport the crystals manually. Rian stepped forward. "If we reroute a portion of the stored energy temporarily and adjust the distribution slightly, we can maintain the grid until the next shipment arrives. It will require careful monitoring, but it is safer than risking the transport of the crystals. The counselors were amazed. His solution was simple yet effective. The city's energy grid remained stable, and no one realized how close they had been to disruption. Alera's eyes showed both pride and curiosity. This human, so seemingly powerless, was quietly proving his worth in ways no one expected. Outside the palace, whispers about Rian continued. Citizens were intrigued by his calm intelligence, and some began to see humans in a new light. Stories spread about the human who helped the city without weapons, who solved problems that even advanced computers struggled with, and who treated everyone with respect. One evening, as the twin suns set and the sky turned shades of gold and violet, Alera invited Rian to dine with her privately. The room was filled with soft light, and the walls reflected the colors of the sunset. "You are adapting well to life here," Alera said. "Yet I sense you are holding back. There is something more to you, Rian, something I do not yet understand." Rian looked thoughtful. "I have skills, Your Majesty, but they are not yet needed in full. I observe and learn because understanding comes first. Strength without wisdom can be dangerous." Alera smiled faintly. She had faced countless warriors, each eager to display their power. None had approached life with such patience and insight. "You are unusual, human. Perhaps that is why I chose you. Most beings I encounter would have tried to impress me, but you do not need to. You let your actions speak quietly, and yet they carry weight." Rian nodded. "I believe that even the smallest actions can create large effects. Change begins with observation and careful decisions, not with force alone." The queen considered this as she looked out over the glowing city. Perhaps humans were not as weak as the galaxy believed. Perhaps there was more to Rian than anyone had guessed. Life in the palace continued with its rhythm of learning, observation, and quiet growth. Rian had settled into his new role beside Queen Alera, but not everyone in Zerathia was comfortable with his presence. Whispers floated through the halls and markets, soft rumors questioning the human who had captured the attention of the most powerful being in the galaxy. Some citizens said he was lucky, others claimed he must hide a secret. "A human cannot survive here without power," they would whisper. Perhaps he is a spy, or perhaps he is stronger than he seems. Even within the council, curiosity and unease grew. Some counselors had begun to notice Rian's intelligence, but the queen's choice still confused them. They had seen no weapons, no technology, no visible power. How could he be worthy of the most influential ruler in Zerathia? One morning, a messenger arrived with urgent news. Reports indicated unusual activity near the borders of Zerathia's territory. Small reconnaissance fleets of an unknown faction had been spotted, their movements precise and calculated. The council convened immediately in the main chamber, with holographic displays showing star maps and fleet positions. "Your Majesty," one counselor began, "these are scouting units from an unknown faction. They appear to be testing our defenses. We must respond with force immediately." Alera shook her head. "We do not yet know their intentions. Rushing into combat may give them the advantage. We must assess carefully," the council murmured among themselves. It was a delicate situation. Zerathia's strength had always come from decisive action, but Alera's patience often proved more effective than immediate attack. Rian stood quietly at the edge of the chamber. His eyes scanned the holograms, analyzing movements, positions, and patterns. He noticed subtle details that others overlooked, slight deviations in fleet formations, timing of their approaches, and the paths that would avoid detection. "I have an idea," he said calmly. "We should not respond with immediate force. Instead, we can adjust our patrol routes to monitor the scouts without revealing our full strength. At the same time, we can strengthen defenses at critical points. If they intend to attack, they will find our preparation precise but not aggressive." The counselors stared at him. His suggestion was both cautious and strategic. It avoided unnecessary conflict while preparing for potential danger. Alera nodded slowly. "Very well," she said. "We will follow Rian's plan. Ensure every patrol and defense point is ready, and report any anomalies immediately." As preparations were made, whispers about Rian spread even further. Some wondered if he possessed hidden abilities. Could he see patterns no one else could? Could he predict movements before they happened? Even those who doubted him began to respect the human's insight. Over the next few days, scouts were observed carefully. Rian continued to study their patterns, noticing subtle behaviors that hinted at their purpose. He began teaching select council members how to interpret these signals, guiding them with patience and clarity. Slowly, they began to see what he saw. The scouts were testing weaknesses, searching for vulnerabilities in the city's defenses. Meanwhile, Alara spent more time with Ryan, curious about his past. One afternoon, she asked him privately, "Ryan, you are unlike any human I have known. Your mind is precise, your observation unmatched. Tell me about your training. How did you learn to see so clearly?" Ryan looked thoughtful. "I trained in human ways, Your Majesty. Our species has learned to survive through patience, observation, and adaptation. We do not always have strength like yours, but we find other ways to face challenges. My skills come from practice, study, and attention to detail. That is all." Alara considered his words carefully. They were simple, yet meaningful. Humans had survived in a galaxy far stronger than themselves, because they had learned to rely on more than force. Perhaps that was why she had chosen him. Perhaps the galaxy had underestimated humans entirely. As the days passed, small incidents continued to test the palace and city. Minor disputes arose among districts. Technical errors appeared in energy grids, and a few security breaches occurred. Ryan handled each calmly, offering solutions that were subtle but effective. His presence reminded Alara and her advisors that strength was not always visible. One evening, an unusual situation arose. A group of foreign envoys arrived at the palace, claiming to represent a nearby star system. They requested an audience, but Ryan noticed something odd. Their gestures and language contained hidden signals, subtle patterns that indicated potential deception. "Your Majesty," Ryan said quietly, "I believe these envoys are not as they appear. Their message may be true, but their intent is unclear. We should proceed carefully and observe their behavior before taking action." Alara's eyes studied him. "Explain your reasoning." Ryan pointed to small details. The way the envoys' eyes shifted when certain words were spoken, the slight delay in their responses, the way their hands were held. "These are signs of deception, not overt lies but hidden intentions. We must be cautious. The moment we react without thought, we risk falling into a trap." Alara nodded, impressed once more. "Very well. We shall follow your advice. Keep your observations ready." The meeting with the envoys proceeded. Ryan observed silently, noting every nuance, every movement. By the end, he had mapped a subtle network of intentions and motivations. His observations allowed Alara to negotiate successfully, gaining favorable terms for Zerathia while avoiding potential deception. The council began to whisper among themselves. Perhaps this human was more capable than they had realized. Perhaps Queen Alara had made a choice that went beyond appearances. Yet even with these successes, Ryan remained calm. He did not seek praise or recognition. His goal was understanding, preparation, and quiet contribution. He continued to observe, study, and learn, always aware that greater challenges might arise. One night, as the twin moons rose over the palace gardens, Alara spoke to Ryan in private. "Ryan, there are whispers about you even among my council. They question your abilities, yet you continue to exceed expectations. Tell me, is there more to you than I know?" Ryan smiled gently. "There are always depths that are hidden, Your Majesty. I do not reveal everything because not all challenges require full strength. Timing is as important as power. One day the moment will come when all is needed, and I will act then." Alara's eyes lingered on him. "You speak as if you have faced far greater dangers than we know. I am beginning to understand why you are not as ordinary as the galaxy believes. Humans may hold strength in ways we have yet to see." Their conversation was interrupted by a sudden alert. Sensors detected a fleet approaching the outskirts of Zerathia's territory. Ryan quickly analyzed the data. The fleet was not massive, but their movements were precise, controlled, and deliberate. "They are testing our response," Ryan said calmly. "Not yet attacking, but they are measuring our defenses. We must remain vigilant and prepared for action." Alara nodded. "Very well. Prepare the defenses and advise me on every step. Your guidance has proven invaluable." Over the next few hours, Ryan worked alongside the council, analyzing movements, predicting patterns, and suggesting adjustments. The city's defenses were strengthened without revealing the full capability of Zerathia. When the fleet finally approached, they found the city ready, organized, and unshaken. The alien fleet, unable to find weakness, retreated after a careful assessment. Not a single city district was damaged, and Zerathia's citizens remained unaware of how close danger had come. After the crisis, the council gathered to discuss Ryan's contributions. They no longer doubted his intelligence or skill. Even those who had questioned the Queen's choice now recognized that Ryan's calm observation, insight, and subtle planning had prevented disaster. Yet Ryan remained humble. He spoke only to offer guidance, never to claim credit. Queen Alara watched him with a mixture of respect and curiosity. The human's abilities, though hidden, were becoming evident in ways that even the council could not ignore. As night fell over Zerathia, the palace glowed under the twin moons. Ryan walked through the gardens with Alara. "You have proven yourself in many ways," Alara said softly. "The city, the council, even the invaders have been influenced by your actions. I am beginning to see what I did not expect. You are no ordinary human, Ryan." Ryan looked at her calmly. "Strength is not always visible, Your Majesty. It comes in many forms. Patience, understanding, and insight are as powerful as weapons. I have only begun to show what humans can do." Alara's eyes shone with curiosity. She realized that the story of this human was only beginning. The galaxy had underestimated him, and perhaps that was exactly what made him dangerous and remarkable. For now, Ryan continued to observe, learn, and guide. He had revealed just enough to prove his worth, but much remained hidden. The whispers of the palace and city spoke of the hidden warrior, a human who seemed powerless but carried intelligence and skill beyond expectation. The stage was set for greater challenges. Ryan's calm presence and insight were quietly shaping the palace, the council, and even the citizens. The galaxy had yet to see what he could truly do, and when the time came, the hidden warrior would step forward, revealing strength that no one could ignore. The peace of Zerathia had not lasted long. Days after the alien scouting fleet retreated, new intelligence reached the palace. A much larger force was approaching, one that clearly intended to invade. Queen Alara and the council convened immediately in the main chamber, where holographic star maps displayed the incoming enemy fleet. "They are not scouts this time," a counselor said urgently. "They bring weapons and soldiers. Their numbers are greater than any we have faced in years. We must prepare to defend the palace." Alara's eyes narrowed. "Do not underestimate them. We will defend our people, but I will not act without a plan. Ryan, I need your guidance." Ryan stepped forward, scanning the holograms carefully. He noticed patterns in the fleet's formation, timing of their approach, and energy fluctuations. "They are methodical," he said calmly. "They expect us to respond with brute force. If we follow their expectations, they will gain an advantage. We must act with precision, not speed. We must predict their moves and counter carefully." The counselors exchanged uncertain glances. Ryan had not shown them raw power, only intelligence and insight. Could strategy alone withstand such a massive force? Alara trusted him. "Prepare the defenses according to Ryan's plan," she ordered. "Every patrol, every shield, every energy barrier. Follow his instructions." As the fleet drew closer, the palace's energy shields hummed to life, and defensive units moved into position. Ryan worked alongside the council, analyzing each step, anticipating the enemy's strategies and adjusting the defenses in real time. His calm presence reassured the counselors, who now followed his guidance without question. When the first wave of attackers arrived, the palace was ready. Energy barriers redirected the enemy's attacks, and defensive drones intercepted missiles with precision. Yet even as the battle began, it became clear that the enemy's technology was advanced. Some drones penetrated the outer defenses, landing near the palace gates. Alara led the warriors in combat, her strength and skill unmatched. She moved with precision, neutralizing attackers with incredible speed. But the enemy was relentless, their numbers overwhelming even her remarkable abilities. Ryan observed carefully, noting patterns in their attacks. He stepped forward, his movements deliberate and focused. With a subtle gesture, he directed energy currents from the palace's power grid, creating barriers and redirecting attacks without using weapons himself. He moved faster than the eye could follow, adjusting defenses and neutralizing threats before they could reach critical areas. The council and palace staff watched in awe. This human, who had seemed powerless, was now orchestrating the defense with skill and precision that rivaled the most experienced warriors. His calm presence was like a guiding force, predicting enemy moves and adjusting defenses in real time. Alara fought alongside him, and for the first time, she saw the full potential of her mate. Rian's intelligence was not just quiet observation, it was active, decisive, and powerful. He manipulated the environment, technology, and energy with precision, protecting key areas of the palace and preventing disaster. The battle raged for hours, yet Ryan never faltered. He coordinated the defensive systems, guided the warriors, and countered enemy tactics with remarkable foresight. The invading fleet, confident in their strength, began to falter as their attacks were repeatedly neutralized and redirected. One group of enemy drones attempted to breach the central palace gates, but Ryan anticipated their movement. Using a combination of energy currents and strategic barriers, he blocked their advance while simultaneously guiding palace defenders to flank the attackers. Within moments, the breach was prevented and the drones were neutralized. Alara watched him with growing respect and amazement. "Ryan," she called, "your skill is extraordinary. You are more than I imagined." Ryan did not stop. "We cannot afford to stop," he said calmly. "The enemy will adapt. We must remain one step ahead." As the battle continued, Ryan's movements became faster, almost imperceptible. He coordinated multiple systems simultaneously, neutralizing threats while protecting citizens and key palace structures. His calm mind and sharp focus allowed him to see patterns and weaknesses that no one else could. Finally, after hours of relentless combat, the enemy fleet began to retreat. Their attacks had been countered at every turn, and their strategy had been anticipated at every step. Zarathia remained intact and its citizens safe, thanks to the coordinated efforts of Queen Alara, the palace defenders, and most importantly, Ryan. The council gathered after the battle, their expressions a mixture of awe and respect. They no longer questioned the queen's choice. Ryan had revealed his true capabilities, showing that intelligence, strategy, and calm precision could rival even the most powerful weapons. Alara approached him in the aftermath, her expression proud. "You have shown your strength, Ryan. Not with brute force, but with foresight, intelligence, and skill. The galaxy has underestimated humans for far too long." Ryan nodded. "Strength comes in many forms, Your Majesty. Physical power is only one aspect. Understanding, observation, and strategy can be just as powerful." The citizens of Zarathia celebrated their safety, unaware of the full scale of the battle. Those who had observed Ryan's actions quietly whispered among themselves, realizing that the human who had seemed powerless was in fact a hidden warrior of extraordinary skill. Even the counselors, who had doubted him from the beginning, now recognized that Ryan was no ordinary human. His calm intelligence, quick thinking, and subtle strength had saved the palace and city from disaster. Over the next days, Ryan continued to train alongside the palace defenders, not to show off, but to ensure readiness for any future threats. His movements were precise, his decisions careful, and his presence inspiring. Even the most skilled warriors learned from him, noticing how he combined observation with action, prediction with adaptation. One evening, as the twin moons rose over Zarathia, Alara and Ryan walked through the palace gardens. The air was calm and the city below glowed softly under the moonlight. "You have changed the way I see humans," Alara said softly. "I once thought your species weak, but you have shown me that strength can take many forms. You are not powerless, Ryan. You are extraordinary." Ryan smiled gently. "I am only one of many humans, Your Majesty. Our species has survived because we learn, adapt, and endure. Strength is not always visible, but it exists in all of us." Alara looked at him with admiration. She realized that the story of Ryan, the seemingly powerless human, was only beginning. The galaxy had underestimated him, but now Zarathia knew the truth. He was a hidden warrior, one whose calm intelligence and skill had saved an entire planet. As they walked together, the palace lights reflecting on their path, Alara felt a renewed sense of purpose. With Ryan by her side, she knew that Zarathia was prepared for any challenge, no matter how great. Together, they represented a new kind of power, one that combined wisdom, strength, and humility in a way the galaxy had never seen before. The battle had revealed Ryan's hidden abilities, but he remained humble. He did not seek glory or recognition. Instead, he focused on learning, observing, and preparing for the future. He knew that greater challenges awaited, and he would be ready when the time came. In the quiet moments after the battle, the palace felt alive with energy and possibility. Citizens, counselors, and defenders alike spoke in whispers of the human who had saved them. They called him a hero, but Ryan remained modest. understanding that true strength was not about titles or recognition, it was about action, insight and the courage to act when needed. Queen Alara watched him with growing respect. She had chosen a human who seemed powerless, but she had discovered a companion who was wise, strong, and capable in ways no one had imagined. The bond between them had deepened, built not on appearances but on understanding, trust, and shared purpose. The galaxy had yet to witness the full potential of Rian. His calm mind, keen insight, and hidden strength would shape the future of Zerathia and beyond. And when the time came, the hidden warrior would step forward once more, ready to face any challenge, protect those he cared for, and reveal the true power of a human who had been underestimated by the universe. The story of the alien queen and her human mate had reached a turning point. Rian had shown the galaxy that strength was not only measured by weapons or technology. It could be quiet, subtle, and strategic. And sometimes the most unassuming individuals held the power to change the course of history. Queen Alara and Rian stood together on a balcony overlooking the city. The twin moons shone brightly above, casting silver light on the palace below. "The galaxy will learn," Alara said softly, "that humans are not as powerless as it believes." Rian nodded. "And together, Your Majesty, we will show them a new kind of strength." In that moment, the hidden warrior had fully revealed himself, not through force alone, but through wisdom, skill, and courage. Zerathia was safe, the queen was proud, and the human who had seemed powerless had proven that even the quietest strength could change the fate of a world. The battle had ended, but its effects were still felt across Zerathia. The citizens spoke quietly in the streets of the human who had saved their city. Rian, who had once been considered powerless, was now a figure of admiration. Even those who had doubted him could not ignore his skill, intelligence, and courage. Queen Alara walked through the palace gardens, observing the preparations for the next day's council meeting. The battle had left damage, though it was minor thanks to the strategic actions of Rian. Repair crews moved efficiently, guided by the subtle instructions he had left during the conflict. The city was recovering faster than anyone had expected, and the people's trust in their leadership had grown stronger. Rian joined Alara in the gardens, his expression calm as always. "The repairs are proceeding smoothly," he said. "The city is stable and citizens are safe. Our defenses are now stronger than before." Alara smiled. "You have done more than defend Zerathia, Rian. You have changed how the city, the council, and the citizens see humans. They now understand that strength is not always visible. You have proven that intelligence, observation, and courage are just as important as physical power." Rian nodded. "I only acted when necessary, Your Majesty. Strength is not about recognition. It is about protecting what matters and using one's abilities wisely." The council meeting the next day was different from any before. Counselors who had once doubted Rian now listened closely to his advice. His insights helped reorganize patrol routes, improve energy distribution, and create systems that could detect future threats more effectively. His calm guidance inspired confidence and trust. One counselor who had been among the most skeptical spoke openly. "Your Majesty and Rian, I must admit I was wrong. The human's abilities are extraordinary. His actions saved Zerathia, and his insight strengthens our city in ways I did not anticipate." Alara nodded. "Rian's abilities extend beyond combat. They lie in strategy, understanding, and calm leadership. These qualities are rare and invaluable." Outside the council chambers, Zerathia's citizens continued to speak of the human who had saved them. Stories spread of his intelligence, bravery, and humility. The legend of Rian grew, and soon other civilizations in the galaxy began to hear of him. For the first time, humans were respected as more than fragile beings. They were recognized for their unique skills and adaptability. In the following weeks, Rian and Alara worked together to strengthen Zerathia's alliances with nearby planets. His human perspective, combined with Alara's leadership, allowed them to form agreements that benefited multiple species. Trade routes expanded, cultural exchanges flourished, and the people of Zerathia saw a new era of peace and cooperation beginning to take shape. Rian also spent time teaching. He shared human techniques of problem-solving, patience, and observation with the young citizens of Zerathia. They learned to think creatively and act strategically. Even the most gifted Zerathians were inspired by his calm approach and careful analysis. Despite his growing influence, Rian remained humble. He never demanded praise or recognition. He acted because it was necessary, because it was right, and because he believed that all species, regardless of power, had value and could contribute to a better galaxy. One evening, after a long day of meetings and training sessions, Alara invited Rian to walk with her along the palace balcony. The twin moons reflected on the water below, casting silver light across the gardens and city. "You have changed more than just the city, Rian," Alara said softly. "You have changed me. You have shown me that power is not only strength but wisdom, patience, and courage. You have shown me that even the seemingly powerless can shape the future." Rian looked out over the city, calm as always. "I have only acted where I could help, Your Majesty. The people of Zerathia are strong and capable. My role is only to guide, to observe, and to act when necessary. Strength is shared, not taken alone," Alara smiled. "And yet you have proven that humans are not to be underestimated. The galaxy will soon learn that we are stronger together than any one species alone." The palace had changed as well. Ryan's presence influenced the staff, the council, and even the palace's defenses. Systems were more efficient, strategies were more precise, and morale was higher. Everyone who had witnessed the battle and Ryan's role understood that the human had brought a new perspective that enhanced Zerathia's power in ways no one had anticipated. Word spread beyond Zerathia's borders. Nearby planets sent envoys to learn from Ryan and Alara. They wished to understand how a seemingly ordinary human could contribute so much to the defense, organization, and growth of an advanced civilization. Many humans across the galaxy were now respected for their potential, and Ryan had become a symbol of what his species could achieve. Meanwhile, Alara and Ryan continued to grow closer. Their partnership was built on trust, respect, and shared purpose. Ryan's calm intelligence complemented Alara's strength and decisiveness, and together they formed a balance that inspired both citizens and allies. One day, as they walked through the palace training halls, Alara asked, "Do you ever tire of being underestimated?" Ryan shook his head. "No, underestimation is a part of being human. It allows us to act without unnecessary attention. We survive, adapt, and grow because others do not expect our full abilities. That is where our strength lies." Alara considered this, realizing that the human's perspective offered her insight into strategy that she had never considered. It was not only his abilities but his mindset that made him extraordinary. Soon, the palace hosted a celebration for the citizens of Zerathia. The city had been safe, the council strengthened, and the people inspired. Ryan was invited, of course, but he declined the center stage. Instead, he guided preparations behind the scenes, ensuring that every detail was perfect, that no one was overlooked, and that the city felt unified and proud. The citizens marveled at the human who had saved them, who worked quietly, and who taught them to see strength in many forms. They began to understand that power could be subtle, and that even a single individual could make a lasting impact on an entire civilization. During the celebration, Alara approached Rian. "You have done more than defend Zerathia, more than guide the council, more than inspire the people," she said. "You have shown me the value of patience, intelligence, and quiet courage. You have proven that humans are capable of greatness, even in a galaxy that often underestimates them." Ryan smiled gently. "I have only acted where I could help. The people, the council, and you, Your Majesty, have given me the opportunity to do what is necessary. Strength is not for oneself, but for those who depend on us." Alara's eyes shone with admiration. "Then together we will lead Zerathia into a new era. An era where strength, wisdom, and courage are shared, and where the galaxy sees humans for who they truly are." From that day forward, Rian and Alara worked side by side. The human who had seemed powerless was now recognized as a hidden warrior, not for his physical might alone, but for his insight, strategy, and ability to unite those around him. The story of his actions spread across planets, inspiring humans and aliens alike. Ryan continued to teach, train, and guide, always calm, always humble. His presence reminded everyone that even the seemingly powerless could change the course of history. Queen Alara, proud and wise, acknowledged his strength and wisdom, knowing that together they could face any challenge the galaxy might bring. The citizens of Zerathia celebrated a new era of peace and understanding. Humans gained respect across alien civilizations, and the palace became a symbol of unity and collaboration. The city thrived, guided by the quiet strength of the human and the wisdom of the alien queen. As the twin moons rose high over the palace, Ryan and Alara stood together on the balcony. The city below glowed with life, its citizens safe and inspired. The galaxy will never underestimate humans again, Alara said softly. Ryan nodded. And together, we will ensure that all species see the power in cooperation, understanding, and courage. That is the true strength of the galaxy. In that moment, Zarathia entered a new era. A human once thought powerless had revealed his hidden strengths, and an alien queen had found a partner capable of shaping the future. Together they showed the galaxy that courage, intelligence, and quiet wisdom were just as important as power. The story of Ryan and Queen Alara became legend. Their partnership symbolized unity, respect, and shared purpose. And the hidden warrior who had once been underestimated now stood as a symbol of hope, strength, and the enduring potential of humanity. The galaxy had changed, and in its heart stood a human who had proven that even the most unassuming could become extraordinary.